going on, everybody? I'm Danny Sess. This is Sess Says. I'm here with Darren Simons. Darren, this is a big episode. It's episode 10 of the show.
Oh, nice. Didn't know that. That's
awesome.
a
Huge milestone guest. But I will say I'm a little worried because you were on with Corey a little while back over the summer. He was doing his member cast. He was on with you, and then we never heard from them again. That was the last member cast, so we got to break the streak here.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right, cool. You're an awesome guy. I think everyone in the group knows a little bit about you, but I think this is a really good opportunity to go a little further. And what I'd like to start with is just, who you are, what you do for work, a lunch streak if you have one, just some background to get this going.
Yeah. So y'all know me, Darren, from Maryland. I always have to say that, but I live in the Carolinas, just outside of Charlotte. My title at work, I'm a senior product designer at Salesforce, so really fancy term for designing software. Been doing that for, since 2016, 2017, so for a while. What else? Lunch streak. Today was a year and 345 days.
Wow. So, 2 years coming up.
I know.
Holy
it's pretty wild. It all started with, guys in this group that motivated me, and I'll talk about that for the end for sure.
Maybe I'm wrong, but when I listened back to your member cast with G this morning, and this was like the first time you started lunging was at the start of this streak, and you've just continued, or you've had different streaks along the way?
No, I mean, this is the first streak I've ever had with anything,
Holy shit, man. That's amazing.
And so and I feel like that catapults into a lot of things, right? So it's like, that's the streak of one thing, which then leads to, okay, now I got to be good with nutrition, with I remember my first I1 abs, like if I didn't wake up in time, I would just do lunging, right? And then the following year, I didn't miss a workout. Like it was, thank God for Pump 30, because that was like the savior for me to like finish the workout, get my lunges in, whether it was outside or I'm a big fan of deficit lunges. But yeah, I can't stop. So
that's amazing because the day one, you just went out there and you were like, I'll go lunge, 800 meters or whatever it was.
Well,
and you haven't stopped since.
There's a story to the lunging where when the first I1 abs contest, I'll give the name away later, but I was like, I'll just do 400 meters, start off the first month. Cause this is the time, I think it was like a 3-month thing.
Yeah.
So the first month I'll do 400 and then the next month I'll do 600. And then the third month I'll get up to that 800 meters. And then this certain individual was like, nah, just do 800. Like, what do you, just get after it. Once you do it, it sucks, but then you'll be fine. I'm like, you know what? I did the 400 meters that day. And then the next day it was 800 from there. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of liked that Corey's struggling with his own, he was doing 400 for a little while too. Very relatable. And I'm just like, you see his times, you're like, this is not that great. But it's just like all of us as a community. It's like, you can do better. Keep going, and then it's you versus you every day out there, your own headspace and just going.
Well, it's funny. I think what really helped me was my dumbass didn't know how to measure the distance at first. I didn't get one of those meters.
Yeah.
I finally bought one, right? So because Dan asked, was like, you should buy one of those so you actually can track like your distance. Because before I was literally counting one lunge and I was doing 800 lunges, like walking throughout my neighborhood. And it was taking me 45 minutes to an hour. So I guarantee you, if I go back in that time, I had to be doing probably a mile. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But yeah, it was finally I picked up that wheel and I'm like, that's a game changer. And then I went to the track and I actually measured, and that was a game changing too. So
yeah, well, I have to give you some props as a consequence of my own life that I was on the Get Stacked for a while. I did that for about a year, and Corey came out with the Pump 30 stuff. And you on Instagram would always be like, don't sleep on these Pump 30s. Like I'm telling you. And I'd be like, like 6 minutes, you can't even break a sweat in 6 minutes, you know? And so I started doing the pump 30s, and you're right, like they're amazing. So I would still do like some GPP and then the lift and the ab work, you know, don't get me wrong. It's still the lunges still take a little bit of time, but pump 30s were great way to change up intensity. And I did that for most of the summer.
Totally. I mean, I do the same thing where GPP is I have a Rogue Echo bike. So I'll do that for 10 to 12 minutes. And then immediately after I do Roman chair abs for like 3 to 5, just because I just like that feeling of like, it's a different type of crunch for your abs. And then for a while I was doing like stick twists, and then I get into the workout followed by abs, followed by lunge. So.
Yeah. Hey, what happened to the Roman chairs? You know, that was like such a statement in like
that was in the golden era stuff, right?
Yeah. But that was like in golden era, like 1 through 10, it was like 10 minutes of Roman chair, like 10 minutes of stick twist. And then that's it. You never heard from them again.
Yeah. We got to bring that up to Corey.
Yeah.
For sure.
Excuse me. We bring back to Roman chairs.
Yeah. That's what I did. I haven't stopped since I did the golden era. So
Yeah. No, I do them all the time too. But and then I'm always like, maybe you got rid of them for a reason. But you're right. I mean, that's a good question for Corey.
Yeah.
Sure. So, you know, I've talked to everybody about this. We're getting ready for I Want Abs. Everyone's has their own philosophy of what's going to be best for them. Some people are trying to really bulk up. Some people feel like they're trying to now like cut down a little bit to get ready. What are you doing?
Yeah. So, you know, I feel like I did it to myself, of course, where I added a little bit more weight than I wanted to before going into I Want Abs. So goal for the rest of December is right now I'm sitting at like this morning I was at 245. Last Friday I was at 242. I'd love to be at 235 going into the contest if that can happen. I'm really kind of push myself in that way. But for what I'm currently doing, it's really 101, and then there are days where I'm doing busy diet just because the day is like very busy, obviously, and then it's much easier just to like have a shake and then just do dinner. But going into I Want Abs, I have a couple of different strategies, I think. So I'm debating whether to do 101 first for like a couple of weeks or do busy diet how it's planned. Both of them how they're like how they are actually protocol. So I'm just not sure.
I'm a big proponent of the busy diet, and I'm definitely one of these guys that when it first came out, I was like, this is not for me. I'm going to be so hungry. I'm hungry all the time. But doing the shake and getting through that, my lunch is working from home is very hectic. I have my son that's running around, and then I was like trying to put him down for a nap. But once I got through that and into a routine, it was amazing because like I would have my shake and then just on to the next thing. I'm out of the kitchen. That's like half of the battle for me. And then at nighttime, like food has never tasted so good as the sweet potato and ground beef, you know, just because I was like so ready to eat. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a good point because I said this in the member cast where sweet potatoes, for whatever reason, they kind of hold on to them. And so, you know, G just introduced doing like bag of vegetables instead. And so I've been doing, you know, green beans instead of mixed vegetables, even though I probably could use more carbs. But I'm thinking, okay, for busy diet going into the contest, maybe I stick with sweet potatoes. And then as I see myself maybe being stagnant and not moving the needle on the scale, perhaps I go into something more less carb heavy, which would be green beans or something.
Yeah. So. But now, if you're just doing green beans, like basically all day, that's your carb source. So you're very few carbs. Are you having like, I don't know, like 3 bananas at nighttime, or is it no difference really?
I actually, for whatever reason, my wife bought a pear like a month ago, right? And I'm like, I had a pear in like a long time. And now I'm like on this pear kick where like, I just eat a pear with some peanut butter, not with the peanut butter, which actually sounds good, but I just cut up a pear real thin, and I don't know, it's good. I mean, maybe I should probably go back to banana because it's probably less sugar. But I've been kind of playing with the pear the month of December.
Yeah, so. You got to mess around with the spikes and stuff for a little bit. Like I would buy like the big bag of frozen mangoes from Costco, and what I try to do is I will like measure out a bunch and then like let it melt, and I put it in the blender, and then I freeze that and I eat it like a frozen ice. It's like pretty solid actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah, but I've done like, some pureed pumpkin in like my Ninja Creamy with like a scoop of cinnamon protein. I'll do that as a spike and put like a little peanut butter on there. I've definitely like messed around with some of the different like fruits and stuff at nighttime for my spikes.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, last time on abs, I didn't cheat once ever. And it was always bananas. So
yeah,
bananas and peanut butter. So
I think that's really important. Me and you were talking a little bit. It seems like there's some other guys that are like really hard gainers and stuff in the group. That's just not me. I really need to keep my spikes like under control. And for me, I would do like a mashed banana and peanut butter and freeze it. And at nighttime, but for me at nighttime, I wouldn't have to open the jar of peanut butter or like get it. Yeah. Everything is all set. I could just take it and go and not have to like think too much about it.
Well, I did a strategy that, what is her name? Becklin. Remember like Kiki and Becklin that would always be on? So I remember her showing like, you just put your jar of peanut butter on your scale, right? And then you zero out the scale. So yeah, and then you just take your scoop so it measures the 32 grams or whatever this serving size is, and that's it. And then you just put that jar away so you're not like tempted. You just eat it right over, and then I don't even think about the peanut butter. I just take my one serving and I'm good. So I try not to overdo, because we all can overdo peanut butter, but I eat the Teddy's like natural, and
that's a
I feel like it's way different than the like. I used to love like the Skippy like whatever, but the Teddy's like it just sticks to the roof of your mouth because if you don't stir it enough, it's like you're like a dog.
The dog. Yep, with the calm. Yeah. I was saying this, I think, on one of the other episodes that like when I first joined, it actually used to have like everything that G's eating, but also like what Cole was eating. And like Cole's spike, it was like, I could be wrong here. I think it said half a tablespoon of peanut butter. It could have said one, and then like some watermelon. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely eating much more than that, like,
yeah. Dude, Cole's like definitely for me is someone more relatable just because he's like a bigger dude like myself, and he lost like a ton of weight and he looks awesome.
Yeah.
But I also know he's also adding in CrossFit to his workouts too. So.
Yeah, like all the guys seem to do a little something extra. Like Danny rocks and like Cole does that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always curious to hear what some other people are doing and stuff like that. Like, Mikey Pogue was saying he does his rocks and stuff, like it's just like stuff that's off of the G blueprint. What would drive people to that? So I'm always curious.
For sure. Definitely. Whatever the results. So
yeah. So what are you doing right now in a lifting standpoint? Are you staying on the Get Stack stuff?
No. So a bunch of us have been doing December.
Okay, cool.
And dude, I've been really enjoying that. I bitched about it last Friday because it was like super high volume and it was fine. Like you get through the workout, but no, it's cool because like I know where my max deadlift is. I felt like a little bit heavier, but I'm excited to see what that PR might look like come next week. Is it next week or the week after? I think it's the week after because there's yeah. But no, I'm excited to see that PR, whatever it may be. And we're all pushing each other. We're all like, we have another side group of like December guys. So we're just like,
oh, what? I wasn't invited.
Are you doing it?
No.
Okay. Well, if you were, we would invite you. So, no, it's been great. I've been doing that with, with, like I said, with the nutrition that I've been doing 101 with the Mix It Busy. So.
Yeah. No, it's been great. I've been just running with the Get Stack stuff. It's been good for me. Definitely eating a little bit more, and like my spikes are getting a little out of hand. But I feel like, okay, I've done 5 days in a row of front squats, lunges, arm lifts. I'm doing good. I'm okay.
Well, I've been trying to be more strategic with my spikes versus doing like full-fledged ice cream. Like I tried to do the creamy last week. Didn't have a lot of success because of the mixture that I made, but it's fine. Like lesson learned. But I think Mason made it last year. It was those copycat Snickers out of like dates. So I'm gonna try that this weekend.
Yeah. Well, Mason, you bring him up. He had a good point the other day in the group chat. He's like, Ninja Creamy, he's like, it tastes like almost as good, but it's like 10 times healthier. And I think that's like the whole idea here is like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
No. And we were chatting up about this earlier. Like, since I missed on that Ninja Creamy on the weekend last week, I had to find something else. Luckily, I bought those Reese's the day before. So I just demolished those guys, and I was good. So
yeah, awesome. So anything that you do differently in the I Want Abs, or you're following this like to a T? You know, you said like really just sticking to very simple spikes. You'll probably go busy diet. Anything like like at one point I think you were saying maybe mile lunges or anything on the weekends. Anything that's like above and beyond?
I did do mile lunges last year. And I didn't do 800 meters every day. I think I did it like maybe every other day.
Okay.
But I thought what helped me a lot, and you mentioned this too, like when you're doing it inside, better, you're not going to hurt yourself, or your form is going to be a little bit better. And for whatever reason, when I do the deficit lunges, I'll do it mostly if I can with my vest because it's like weighted and it's more challenging. But when I'm out there doing lunges outside, I feel so much more like loose because I'm not doing it every day. Although for I Want Abs, I'm like, I really need to shock this body. And if it's going outside every day, so be it. So I think that's my strategy is I'm going to try to get outside much more frequently versus being inside, even though I feel like inside's like an easy out. So
yeah. And as long as you're putting it on Instagram, because my day's like the same without seeing, hey, it's your boy.
I got you.
It's up in New York. It's raining here this morning, so the guys in the gym, they're like, sorry, you're not gonna be able to do your lunges today. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm still going out there. And they're like, you're nuts, man.
My neighbor's thinking crazy, like, you out there, no matter what, I love your dedication. I'm like, well, got you. So
yeah, if you think I'm crazy, you should be in the Get Stacked 126 group chat.
I know.
Yeah. This is great, man. I think definitely since I've come on to this, whole app and whole Corey G experience, like you've been a big motivator for me. I always see you on there posting and like, you're human in the sense of like, you'll have setbacks, but you'll make progress. You're happy to show off the progress. And I think your transformation last year was incredible. You were like half of the man that you were at the end of the contest. Like it was such an awesome transformation. And I loved rewatching you and G talk all about it because it was a great question. Like, G, like what else do I have to do to get to the next level and win this thing?
Yeah. I mean, I had to ask because if I didn't, I felt like I would have regretted asking or not asking. But I loved his answer. Like just being on with him, that's a huge win. Like not everyone gets that. So, and I think all of us can be like, man, he's somebody that we all put on a pedestal that we look up to. So at least I know I do, but I would imagine all of us have some sort of like relation of like, that dude's, he's a dude and he's awesome. So, I appreciate the compliments though, for sure.
Yeah, you got it, man. That's definitely Corey's superpower is like,
oh yeah,
he treats us all like so well, he makes you want to be better because of like you're trying to emulate him as like this an amazing guy, dad, workout, hero, he's amazing. So
of course, definitely.
Yeah. And he brought us all together, which is a nice
100%.
I
know it's like it's a weird paradigm where he doesn't know it, but he brought us all together. I had an opportunity last year. It was last year or the year before. I was out in Seattle for work. Well, sure enough, who's out there? Mason. So I got to go do a lunge session with Mason.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, we're kind of out of time here. So I want to at least start the conversation of tagging somebody else in. This has been really great that we're 10 people deep.
Yeah.
We're going to have another one. I promise.
Yeah. So it's not Mason that I'm tagging in, even though that's my dog. He's been with me for a long time too. But this guy, he was the one that said, go 800 out of the gate. like, and so he's been a huge proponent to who I am. It's the voice that makes you moist, and that's Brian Johnston.
Brian, round 2.
Oh yeah, has he already been on?
Yeah, Brian has been on.
Oh man, all right. Then let's do Mason. That's my bad.
Okay, Mason. Sorry, Brian.
Sorry, Brian. I thought of it in my head last night about who am I going to tag, and whatever reason, the voice that makes you moist had a good ring to it. But my bad. I forgot that Brian was on there. But
yeah. No,
let's do Mason.
Okay, cool. Mason. Yeah. I've never talked to Mason one-on-one, so I'll look forward to it. Darren, you are the man, and I think this episode needs to be called Simons Sess.
Oh,
I like it. This is a good play on words here. All right. I'm Danny Sess, and that's what I'm saying.
All right, man.